My name is Brayon Rhodes. I am going to be doing a American Cruise style clipper cut today. So first we're going to start off with your horseshoe parting. Now in this horseshoe parting we're going to take it a little bit lower just because I want this to be a little bit of a disconnection here. To hold the top up, you can use clips. I prefer not to, it's just my style of work. But if you choose to, that is perfectly fine. So next we're gonna establish his head shape. Now this is going to set you up for his initial cut or his initial fade at that point. Alrighty. I'm going to take my wall clippers, we're going to attach a number 2 guard to this. And then I like starting on my dominant side, which is my right hand side. If you're left-handed, you can start on your left-handed side. And then just going right up to the temple area with this number 2 guard. Keeping a nice control with your clippers. Using your clippers to eliminate a lot of that bulk will help you, so you don't have to go back through and clean it up so much with your shears afterwards. Using a little bit of force placement with my comb there to really initial that heavy weight line in the back to complement his occipital bone. And then just working our way right back over to his left side here. So after this step, you should end up with a line of demarcation or a weight line starting at both of the temples and working its way right back down to the occipital bone. After that step, you can go ahead and grab your number 1 guard, and we're just going to continue this fade all the way down. So I'm going to start exactly where I was before, just taking it down a little bit further than where I initially went with the number 2. Using the same C-cup motions to really get that suspend in there in that bevel. So initially I'm creating 2 weight lines that I will have to go back through and take out afterwards. Making sure you're pivoting the ear back and forth, that way you can get all of those hairs so we don't leave any long pieces around that. So now I'm going back through with my 1.5. It's just by taking your clipper and flicking that right up, you're going to get you to a 1.5 there. That way I can take out that weight line right at the bottom, and then I'll go back through and I'll take out this weight line at the top. For this next part, I like to go in with the shear over comb technique. It's just my preference of cutting for this. That way I'm not diving in there with the clipper and risking a nick or anything like that in the hair. And I'm just graduating my hand up at a stationary position. So I'm not diving into the hair, I'm keeping everything level, and I'm just taking out that weight. I'm just going to continue this all the way around the head, just eliminating all of that weight so we have a nice seamless blend from top to bottom. I'm leaving a heavier weight line up here, just so it'll be a little bit easier for me to go ahead and blend in that top. I am going to do a little bit of a disconnection now, so if you do take it a little bit shorter in that area, that would still be fine because it'll still make sense at the end. I got taught this little trick in beauty school. It's called the mirror never lies. So I always check my clients in the mirror just to make sure everything's rounding out evenly and that there's no heavy weight lines around it. And it's nice because I might not see this with my naked eye, but once I put it in the mirror, and I can go through and I can take that out because I just noticed that. So once I'm comfortable with the bottom, I'm just going to lay everything in its natural falling position. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wet them down just a little bit more. That way it's a little bit more easier for me to cut. So the way I like to cut the top is the American Career way, is parting everything off in a T-shaped parting, right down the middle. And then making your T right at the top of the head. All right, so starting again on my dominant side, we're gonna start right here on the right side of his head, and I'm just going to subsection, horizontal partings. And because I want this to be a disconnection, I'm going to connect it at the back, and then slowly disconnect towards the front. Following your guide from the bottom. And then making your way to the top of the middle of that T. Move on over to his left side, mimicking the same idea, blending at the back and disconnecting at the front, lifting up my guide from underneath. Try not to get those hairs in the back because we will blend all of those in afterwards. And so I come everything forward. And I'm going to work in my back section here, taking this into 3 triangles back here. Still working in horizontal sectioning. Now the back is a total connection, so I will be connecting all of this with the hairs that I cut with the clippers. Down each section from that triangle parting that we made. So next we're going to get into our detail and finish portion of this, and then the connecting of the top. Because this hair is so thick, I don't want to take this at a blunt cut right across the top. I'm actually going to go through and use a point cut technique just to soften up that line a little bit. Taking horizontal sections all the way to the front. Mastering a point cutting technique, it may take a little bit longer, so I really do like to go through and at first, if you're first starting out, just go through and go a little bit slower than you normally would. Because I want the front to be a little bit longer, I am going to over direct this back to that last section that we just made. I like doing most of the top dry, just because you can really see where everything's gonna lay and how it's going to lay. And then we're gonna go into our detailing, and if it's anything that I've missed during the initial cut, I'll go through and I'll get that off now. During this section, you can always take a razor technique to it, a thinning or a notching shear to it. I do a little freehand cleaning up afterwards, just to make sure I'm getting everything. Alright, and then after this, I'm just going to go ahead, I'm going to get him cleaned up around his ears, I'll get him styled, and then that'll be the finish of this haircut. And this is just the initial cleanup, getting away any of those fly hairs, cleaning up the sideburns a little bit, and around the ears. Getting those neck hairs off. Gonna look all the way down. Because his hair is so fine, I don't really need to go through and do a taper because it already pretty much tapers off for me. But if someone has super thick hair, especially at that neckline, it'd be good, especially in this time, to go through and do a little taper either in the front by both temples and at the back of the neck. I like to take a towel just to clean up around it, just to make sure I got everything off. I'm gonna reach in my bag really quick, grab some American Crew styling cream, take a little bit, putting it right in the palm of my hands. Rubbing it together is what's going to get it nice and activated for you. Now these are a hair fiber, so they're really going to give it a nice hold. Kind of a tousled, messier look. Need a little bit more. I like to really piece things out, especially around the face, leaving that nice and smooth. Giving it a little funk up top. Alrighty, and that's how you do one of many American Crew's basic hairstyles.